Hello and welcome to Sunday. Now, I said we're going to talk about this, so we're going to talk about this. I beat Neo, The World Ends With You. Not sure if you can see it. I mean, you can definitely see it. But I've been a fan of The World Ends With You since I started playing it back in probably November 2014. I first heard about it. I didn't bring it because I first heard about it through Dream Drop Distance, the Kingdom Hearts game that I initially played back in the summer of 2013. I believe it was August 2013, and I had a amazing time with that game. But within like the first 15 minutes, you're thrown into a world in that game where you meet the protagonist of The World Ends With You. So after beating Dream Drop Distance, I was intrigued by this, and I figured, well, time to learn more about this game. So over a year later, I ended up picking it up, and my life was forever changed. One of my best friends, she actually got me a copy of the soundtrack, which I treasure and I love, and I've listened to probably more than any person in the world. Nearly. This was a album that I played quite a bit back in high school, and I listened to this a lot, and it was a staple in my music rotation. One of the tracks on here, actually, track number, it's not on here. This cost 2,000 yen. There's a track called Calling, which is butchered to hell in Dream Drop Distance. It is one of the worst remixes I've ever heard, but that's fine. However, in the original and in the remake, some of the tracks in the remake are, well, not remake, in Neo are remixed, but track number 5, Calling, is such a amazing track that it has been my ringtone since I've heard it, and it's so good. This little booklet is super cool too. I never really went through the music booklet. It has liner notes? Oh my god, but it's in Japanese. That sucks. Oh well. Maybe there are liner notes in English in the front. Nope. Well, that's unfortunate. Anyway, this game, when I first played it, forever changed just like who I am as a person, and it impacted me to such an extent that I was just hugely affected by it. So much so that when I heard that there was a sequel, I immediately ordered it, which is why I have a couple copies here. I actually have 2 copies of the DS game, this one here, and the PS4 copy is sitting on top of it. But, yeah, the thing about, actually, Neo, the original, this one, the World Ends With Your Final Remix, I believe I was the first person in the US to own a physical copy, as of release date, right? You know, obviously some employees of game stores might have owned one, but I was one of the first people, because I was in line at Nintendo New York when this game, I saw that it was 9 o'clock. I walked over to the store because I used to work right across the street from Nintendo, and walked over, and I was like, hey, I was here yesterday. I asked about if you guys would have this game. They said yes. I'm like, give it to me. See how it has a T rating? T for teen. It was in the system as M, so I needed to show my ID. I'm not so sure. Did I leave the receipt in here? I did not. But I was one of the first people in the world to, in the US rather, to own that copy, and I was super happy. Haven't played it though, because I know that the port is kind of I know people have mixed opinions on it, so while I'm a huge fan of the original, I have yet to play Final Remix, and I probably should, but that's a challenge for another day. So that was in 2018. That was in 2018 when I got that. So The sequel, Neo: The World Ends with You, came out in 2021, I believe, and nobody was expecting a sequel to this cult classic because it came out 14 years later, which is crazy. I think it got announced 13 years later, so it had been in the works probably since the port of the original. I haven't looked too much into the development history of this game, but it is a amazing game. It is a direct sequel. There's an anime that came out a couple months before this game, Neo, and it does a pretty good job of summing up the first game, albeit the major plot points don't hit as hard as they do in the original because you're condensing a however long game into 12 episodes of the anime, so it's not as impactful, but still it's very well done. The unique art style transfers over quite well. Speaking of the art style, this game is in 2D, the original, but Neo, the sequel, is in full 3D, and it works pretty well. The combat is still based around the same system, but it transfers pretty well to 3D. While it is mostly button mashing, it does a pretty solid job. The plot of both these games are buck wild. They're insane. It just gets increasingly more just insane. There's twists and turns at everywhere you look. Every day you're falling more and more in love with the characters, so it makes everything more impactful, and it hits you so hard, so fast, and you're never prepared for where either game is going. The twists and turns are just absurd. Speaking of twists and turns, title track, well, not title track, but one of the major songs and major themes is the word twister. I think it might. I should not have put the OST away, but there's a song called Twister, which is, I think, that like one of the main themes for The World Ends with You, the original, and you hear it a bunch in the anime. You hear it a bunch in this game, and in the in Neo as a remix, and it's wonderful. All of the music in these games are just so good. It's one of the reasons to play it. Like, art style's insane, music insane, all of the artistic decisions, story is incredible, combat is pretty good. In the original, it's really takes advantage of the DS. It's hard to see it, but here you're using the D-pad on the top screen while you're doing combat on the bottom screen with the touch screen. It's a super neat, super fun system, and it's really engaging. It carries over well to Neo, but I definitely think I prefer the original's combat over the sequels. Still does a great job, and it's an amazing time. Uh, so yeah, this game took me like 2 weeks to beat, and what a rush, what a ride! It's I was thoroughly engaged, but by the end of it, I was more invested in the story that I just wanted to be done with the game. And it just takes you for a spin. There's so much happening. Again, the twists and turns are crazy. You get so invested in these characters that if anything happens to them, you're just taken aback. As the game led up to the climax, every major plot point that happened, I was getting shivers, chills down my spine. I was like, this is insane. This is crazy. They're doing this. I can't believe they're doing this. They mentioned this character. Oh my god. It's it was just a lot, and you get so invested and tied up into the story that it just Square Enix does an amazing job with their stories and their storytelling, and this game is no exception. It is a amazing time, and I can't believe it took me so long to play it. Nearly 3 years later, 4 years after it released, I finally decided to play it, and I'm so happy that I did because I could not imagine not having this in my life now. The first game just hit me so hard when I first played it back when I was like 10 years ago, and Wow, yeah. It was like 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. And 10 years later playing this. It. What a time. What a time. I am so happy to have played this, and, solid 9 out of 10. Uh, I wish I could experience these games all over again from a fresh perspective, but that's not going to happen. I'm probably going to 100% Neo. I've 100%ed this game every way possible, maxed out every character's stats, bought every single thing, completed every single mission or everything that's possible. 100% rankings in everything except one. There's like the attack collection. There's like 300 different pins or attacks that you can get, and the only thing I'm missing is a single 5 yen pin, I believe, in the original, which I don't care about. um, but yeah, it's such a amazing, amazing game. I'm so glad to have played it, and I will be 100%ing it for sure. Um, Go play it if you haven't. I have a full write up link down below actually, so feel free to read that. It's pretty much everything I said here, but go listen to the soundtracks too if you're a fan. They're on Spotify, they're on Apple Music. They're probably somewhere other places. Definitely YouTube. Uh, Play them, enjoy them, and just have a wonderful time. Okay, that's what I'm gonna call it here for today. So, thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow, and until then.